Never did check sound. I get a little low. Check, hello? How about now? That one's probably a little bit too loud now, isn't it? Okay, let's maybe aim for the middle. If anybody is there at this point and it's too loud or too quiet, feel free to let me know. I could tweak it further. Otherwise, let's get this one over here. Yeah, all right. Good morning. I think I will probably take my hoodie off, I guess. I was a little cool a little bit ago and I put it on, but it's kind of warming up now. I think I'm going to take that off, so I'll be right back. Okay. So good morning to everyone. Well, I kind of blend in with the black shirt and the black background on the page there. That's interesting. Should green screen my shirt one of these days. I have a green shirt I could wear, I think. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. My name is Tim. For anybody that might be new, I go by Foamy Guy on GitHub and Discord. I typically work on CircuitPython related stuff on the stream, of which the most regular one is in this time slot, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. here. If you don't know what CircuitPython is, you can learn more at the website here, circuitpython.org. This is basically a version of Python that runs on tiny computers called microcontrollers. And typically these will plug into your computer, show up like a thumb drive, and then you can edit a Python code file on that thumb drive, and the microcontroller, you know, the computer that is in the chip on all of these little devices, will actually execute that Python code for you. So that's kind of the like high level thing that most typically I work on stream, is stuff related to that project overall. There are lots of different facets of the project, so we still do quite a bit of, you know, varied stuff from time to time, but typically it's all kind of driving towards that main goal of the CircuitPython project in some way. Good morning to C. Grover. How's it going, my friend? Do I have the... I can't actually see it that small. There it is. Okay, yeah. Coffee cheers. How hot this is going to be. Pretty hot, actually. Yeah, I think so. Not too bad, actually. Okay. All right, so I have just kind of a grab bag of a bunch of different things I want to do today. We'll see how many of them we get through. None of them are particularly related to each other, so it'll feel like we're bouncing around, but it's just kind of stuff that I have in mind to do. Basically stuff that's been kind of building up as I've been working on the Pac-Man game. Oh, which reminds me how I wanted to start the Pac-Man 1D Chomper arcade game in the cardboard box. That guide is live now, so check that out. If you're interested, that's what we worked on last week on the streams. And the guide is up and published now. So check that out. It's under, easiest way to find it is if you just go to learn. It's under new guides right now. But it's the 1D Chomper tabletop arcade game. So for anybody who happens to catch us in the future, if it's not under the new guides anymore, you can just search, you know, up there obviously and find it. But a couple of things that popped up while I was working on that I kind of just set aside so I could keep going on it are what I'm going to do today. The first one of which is I want to cookie cut the soft keyboard, and I like to, I think, submit it for the community bundle. Because right now what we have is just CircuitPython soft keyboard under Foamy Guy repo, and it doesn't have releases, it doesn't have MPY files, it's not in a bundle. You can't install it with Circup, you know, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't have most of the files for like anything except for the code, the examples, and the license, which I would say I kind of consider the bare minimum. Good morning to Axel Magnus and Dexter as well. Thanks for looking at e-ink. Issue I reported is fixed and the lace build. Awesome. Yeah, for sure. Thanks for pointing me towards it. I am always happy to chase a display a bug. Honestly, I'm a bit of a sucker for like why does the display doing this thing or not doing that thing or whatever. So okay, yeah, so let's cookie cut this. So we already have the code and everything. We don't really need to, like, I don't intend to make any changes to the code right now, but I just want to get it cookie cutted, basically give it the rest of the repo and get it ready for going in the, community bundle. So I think I have cookie, like, factory or cookie kitchen, that's what it is. Kitchen, let's head into the cookie kitchen. And I don't know, I don't remember the command off the top of my head. I always use the guide, so we'll just go creating and sharing a CircuitPython library. It's under creating a library. Or rather, evening. Yeah, good evening to you. Let's see, cookie cutter. The command is somewhere right there. I'm gonna grab the cookie cutter command. I'm gonna paste it. For anybody who doesn't know, cookie cutter, it's like a templating library. It's non-specific to CircuitPython, cookie cutter is, but the whole point of cookie cutter is allowing you to make a custom template and then build projects from that custom template. So CircuitPython has a cookie cutter template, but cookie cutter itself is a much larger project that has templates for all kinds of things. But basically, it allows you to answer a series of questions, and then it will build a folder for you, basically like a repository of source code, with the right name that you specify and all kinds of stuff. You'll see as we specify here. So for the CircuitPython one, first question, which bundle is it going to be? So we're going to pick community bundle because that's where I'm going to take this one. The GitHub user can be Foamy Guy. I'll just put it under the same. I'll try to use the same repo it's under. We'll see if I manage to do it correctly. We may build a new repo on GitHub if we need to, but author name, what I'll put is just copy the code file, which I think is DJDevon3 and I, who both kind of worked on this code. DJDevon created the initial one that laid out the keyboard with labels and everything, and then I refactored that to use the JSON configuration file. Added some other things. Email, I'll stick my own. I don't necessarily want to sign anybody else up for emails. I believe, like, everything that we answer here is going into a file in the repo as well, so nothing is permanent either. Like, every answer here just gets put into a file somewhere. We can always update the file. It's not really for a company. The library name, that's going to be, so what are the rules with that one? So is it going to, basically what I want to know is it going to prepend CircuitPython automatically or not? I can never remember right. Library name, it says. The short name. So if you're in the Adafruit bundle, you automatically get Adafruit underscore CircuitPython. And because you automatically get Adafruit underscore CircuitPython, and it says the prefix is Adafruit, then that implies to me that the CircuitPython comes automatically. So in our case, if we would call it soft keyboard, we should get CircuitPython soft keyboard. I'm going to show my work here. I don't know if we're going to be correct or not. How's it going, Johnny? Nice to see you, my friend. Soft keyboard, so let's see. Library description, we can, if there is, there's probably something we can copy for that, right? Maybe not, I guess. I was expecting maybe something here. We can write up a description real. Oh, here we go, actually. Yep, perfect. Library keywords, let's say, so the name of it goes in and CircuitPython goes in and a couple other things go in automatically. But we'll add soft keyboard, keyboard, and then I can never remember the space or comma separated. Let's see. Space. So we'll do keyboard, soft keyboard, which I guess maybe actually goes in automatically, I'm not sure. Touchscreen, display IO, display, UI, GUI, QWERTY? That's all that I got off the top of my head. Python prefix, so I'm gonna leave that blank. I'm gonna hope that we get a CircuitPython automatically, otherwise we're gonna run through this again. But if I have to run through it again, like, honestly, I don't think I've ever gotten it right on the first try, so. There's not really a product, because it's any, like, touchscreen, basically. Requires bus device, no, because it's just display IO. I mean, your display probably is like SPI maybe, in which case, yes, but if your display is built in, then you don't need bus device. I mean, honestly, we could probably get rid of this question. Well, maybe not for small devices. Bus device is a core module anyway now. It used to be a library, which is, I think, mostly why this question existed, because it's going to choose whether it puts that library in the pip requirements and other stuff. Other requirements, we do have a requirement on display IO layout, but I don't think we have a file for it. Yeah. And other requirements, it needs to be the pip names. Yes, it needs to be the pip names. So that is display IO layout. GitHub. Pip name. This. Anything else? So JSON, but JSON's a built-in module. Display, display text. And bitmap font, actually. Let's go. It's down here too? Nope, not in this one. I also don't know if these are space or comma. Looks like comma. Be nice if that was consistent. If everything was space, every list thing was space or comma. I guess keywords is just a string maybe, and it's going into some other system which is already space separated though. One's kind of interesting because it has a underscore. Pip might be agnostic between underscores and hyphen. I'm not sure. Okay, so those are the only three. Let's do that. Sphinx docs. Let's do yes. I think Sphinx docs are nice. All right, and it didn't ask for PyPy. I think it defaults to yes on PyPy instead of asking. So did we get CircuitPython soft keyboard? Nice. Okay, so does it look reasonable if we go and open it from someplace slightly closer to it, ideally? Let's open this randomly and then this. Go to the cookie kitchen, which will be in the C's. It did make this soft keyboard only, which I think is different, right? But we could go with that. Oh, well, it's not as different as I thought, actually. It is different, but it's only because of an underscore. Is that how the repo is? That is how the repo is. Okay, so yeah, the repo should match the code file, I think, right? It should either have an underscore in between there, or it should not have one there. And I think I just lean towards not having it the code file. So I think we'll go with this name. Which means the imports will change slightly, fortunately, but. Okay, so any specific hardware, we're not gonna have any specific hardware. What we are gonna have is just I'm gonna put like any touch screen basically. But it's not gonna be a link. Any touch capable display. Plus device register, we don't need. Let me open the local version of this that I have as well, but not from the root. I wish it wouldn't do that. Actually, don't think I updated main. Yeah, my local branch here, so let's do that. And then, okay, so one difference also is this one has the directory because it has the JSON files inside of it also. I think we do want to have that. So what I'm going to do is actually bounce back to here, make a directory. And I think it should match the repo, so I'm going to drop the underscore. Then we'll put this stuff inside of it. But then we'll open this and we'll take all of this code. Just take all of it. And then we'll put it at the bottom of this. And we'll go fix the top a little bit. So we already have this stuff. And also it wanted the imports right here. I'm going to change the code too much. Okay, and then let's delete the underscore one, and then let's move this one in. And let's grab the examples. Delete that one. I'm gonna remove the underscore from that one, and then this one is gonna want to be called soft keyboard at the front. Because we made this a folder, we need to go to here, do what this says, which is change that from PyModules. Interesting, that's an underscore, but that's a hyphen. The packages, soft keyboard, okay. Else for the most immediate. This one doesn't have a license in it, so that will. Technically, this is not true either, right? This is actually just the simple test. But it did start life as that. Let's take let's take that out, and then it should work on a bunch of different versions. I guess it does. It's kind of like the history. Let's do that, and then let's also take this one because DJ Devin created this example as well. So let's do that. Otherwise, it will fail reuse during the, not pylint, but pre-commit. All right, let's see if we are anywhere near close to passing. I think probably we still have some issues. Yeah, that's a big one right there. So let's just go get init, and then I think we want to. I'm thinking we try to use this repo, because the repo has no underscore there, so like the name of the code and stuff will change, but there's no releases yet. To the best of my knowledge, DJ Devin and I are the only ones who have used it at this point. I think if there's any gotchas on like why we need a new repo. Okay, I'm not coming up with any, so I think we're going to give it a try. So we initialize that, so what we're going to do is grab the remote URL and go get remote. First of all, I'm going to go get remote origin. I'm going to go get remote -v. Don't have any remotes. I'm going to go get remote add homie guy. This. Then git fetch foamy guy. And then I'm gonna make a new branch, which is grayed out for some reason. Why is that grayed out? Git checkout -b. Good morning, Gordy G. So let's say structure files. And I'm actually gonna not do a from. I guess. Okay. Trying to get this committed into another branch first, and then we will merge it over to main. Able to pre-commit now? No, because no files are added. So let's go git add.getIgnore. And then git add all. Then we should be able to pre-commit. Wait. Why does pre-commit... This says reuse was skipped, no files checked. But I often fail reuse for files that aren't checked in. So, how? And or like, why did this not run on the files that aren't checked in? Line too long? We're just gonna take out the, because we're only off by one character. Too many local variables. I don't know, I kind of like local variables in a way. Doesn't like the name F. I like the name L. Doing cur span offset. We might as well do cur label, I guess. Consider using with. I guess we can use with. Can we? Ah, boy, it's really awkward because it's inside of this, so we're gonna have to do two withs if we want to use with. Whereas if we just don't use with, then we can just say layoutfile.close, which is gonna be a lot less. Because otherwise we're gonna have to put a with in here and a with in here, since they are two different file names. Or I guess we refactor it so that this variable gets equal to this. And then we don't need, well, actually this, because the JSON is not in there either. Okay, so let's say this says if layout config is none, then let's go layout config equals this. And then we no longer need this, and we no longer need else, and we can bring this back to here. And we can put this up with it, and then we can give it a width. layout file equals open. Except for that's not the right syntax, so can't actually do that. It's open as layout file. Gonna experiment with Adafruit IO today. Feed callback. It worked, but with an old version. How can I in GitHub see which version of a library I use? In GitHub? Well, so I mean, the version that you're using, you can't really see in GitHub, I don't think, unless I misunderstand your question somehow. The short answer of how can you tell which version of a library you're using is unfortunately kind of tricky, actually. So if you have a .py Python code file that's not MPY, you can just look in it and there might be a version in it, but the problem is the version might say 0. So like this was a copy of NeoPixel. I renamed it to not NeoPixel, but it was a copy of NeoPixel. So like lots of them will have this. The problem is depending on where you got it, this might not be filled in. As you can see on mine, it says 00. But like this one, magtag, it's filled in. So that's one place to check. If you, okay, so if it's MPY, it's still in there, but it's hard to see. But what you can try to do maybe is, I'm pretty sure you can access that from the REPL. So if you go to the REPL, if you have a device plugged in, I do not currently have a device plugged in. You go to the REPL and you import something. That's actually on the device. Honestly, though, where we're getting at to, honestly, is the short answer is the easiest way to be sure of what version you have is to delete the one you have and put a new version that you're sure of, which is not the best thing sometimes, but that's the best way to be like absolutely sure. Sometimes you can find it out in other ways, but sometimes it's going to say 000, in which case you're not going to know unless you want to go compare the code, which I wouldn't. But let's try this because I think I did this the other day and I got a workable version if I recall. Then something like this, right? Yeah, you could try this. It might work. Depends on where you got it. In the repos checked in, those numbers are zeros. So if you like did a git clone or a git checkout or something and you just copied that code file into your device, then it'll be 0. But if you installed it from Circup or a bundle or something, I think those should be filled in, but kind of depends. Where are we at here? We got, let's run this again. Consider using with. I didn't save. All right, let's run it again now that I saved. Missing docstring. Height. Height. That is layout height? Is pixels? Sure, to be honest. Say the height of the layout. I think it's in pixels. But it might not be. It might be in cells. It's a grid layout made of a bunch of cells. Too many branches. Oops, okay, we edited the code, so now it's on a different line. Check touches. Check. It's not really check for touch events because we're getting passed, so it's check the touch event. Process any keys that have been pressed. Touch point, that is a tuple XY coordinates. Technically, I think with some screens there'll be a third one for pressure or whatever, but we're not using that, so we just call it XY. Returns. I don't think it returns anything. I think it has side effects. It just does what it's going to do. Oh, just kidding. It returns the pressed value. Which comes from the config. And it will either be the same as the label. So this one would have a value of hyphen as a string or 0 as a string. Or it could be key value like this, and then it would be a number. String or int. I mean, I guess technically it's up to the config, but string or int are the ones it's designed to work with. I suppose if you want to get crazy in your config, you could try putting booleans or something. Gotta have it turn on stuff on and off or something maybe like that. I don't know. Too many branches. I don't know. I like branches. I feel like branches make clear code. Maybe my brain is different than Pylant's brain, but... Let's Pylant disable. Many nested blocks. Not the same thing. That's right, too many nested. So it's like a function, so an object, a function, and then a for loop and an if statement. And that's too many nested blocks. I don't know. I'm unconvinced. Either all should return or none should return. So we're returning sometimes, but not other times, I guess. We return pressed value there. I guess we just give it the old return none out here, which it would have been doing anyway. Unused bitmap font. Yeah, because we just pass the font as a string, don't we? Yeah, character font and symbol, well, it's not a string, but it's already instantiated, I mean. So character font and symbol font already exist, already got created outside of here, which means that we don't use bitmap font inside of here. Bitmap font technically gets used by the examples or the code that uses the soft keyboard, not by the soft keyboard itself. Although theoretically we could fall back on default ones or something. Oh, that has fork awesome font, which it creates out here. I don't know why it's not gray. Usually when there's unused stuff, it turns gray. That's weird. Okay. Now we passed pilot. We failed reuse on what? Two files. The JSONs. Right. So you can have comments in JSON. It's unfortunate. Therefore, the only way that I know of to license a JSON file is to use kind of like one of these things where we have a dot license. We go default JSON dot license. We do want to add it. We don't need Scott on there, and we can just leave it as DJ Devon myself. We can copy that for the mobile layout. Mobile layout? Mobile layout. JSON.license. Add. Should make reuse happy. Okay, we passed everything. So I'm going to try committing to this branch, adding infrastructure files. Commit failed with to-dos. 8 to-dos. Some of these are not actually to-dos. These GitHub YAML. If you're creating a package, oh, okay. Add this argument along with the prefix or full name of the package folder so that MPY. These ones are not actually to-dos. These are like silent thing. Do please read. Okay, you got me. Uncomment below if you use native CircuitPython modules. Okay, that's this. We use display IO. I think that's maybe terminal IO for font, but it's already loaded, right? We said the examples. We should try building the docs, I guess. Do. Yeah, that's a configuration thing for to-dos, not an actual to-do. My project, and this one we already handled by changing that to packages. Explicit markup ends without a blank line. README. 97, but I don't know if those are accurate. To do. Explicit markup ends without a blank line. I don't know if that actually works in RST. Give me a preview button if you don't render the right kind of stuff to 96. Unknown target name. No target name. I don't know what that means. Do we want a space? What's a space? New entry found. Readme. 45. We will do PyPy. Index 27. Index RST 27. Go. Learn guide links. Talk tree contains reference to document API that doesn't have title. You created a package, use one auto module per module. Oh, I think that's us, right? I'm pretty sure. Need that, maybe? Nice, okay. Run pre-commit again. Okay, now we're gonna commit. We're gonna commit even though we have to-dos. We're gonna see if it runs actions at all. And then if it passes actions. And while that's working, I'm gonna look inside of here for something which I cannot show you. Okay. To find something. Basically, I am setting up the secrets that will hopefully allow the PyPy deploy to work. Will come when we try to make a release. We've failed some other actions already. Check set failed. Yes. Could I see? Or mail is broken. Oh, I didn't put .com. Why does that fail in GitHub but not locally? Alright, I'm gonna run to the restroom while that's going. I'll be right back. Alright, looks like we got green all the way. Yep, okay. I think I'm just gonna check out main locally and merge it. So this might be like a rebase. I don't really know how to use rebase. Technically, what I want is not really to merge it, but rather to just set main to be equal to the current state of infrastructure files. Because when I merge, it is gonna actually have conflicts. Or just refuse to merge anyway. Okay. Ew. Gonna check this back out. Out another copy of this. Well, we already have the other copy, actually. This one is set to main. So what we're going to do is open this folder. That is the repo set to main. And then we're going to open this folder, which is the repo set to infrastructure files. And then we are just going to copy all of this. I delete. Or just paste? I think I delete first, right? Because we don't want to keep any old files by their old names, like the underscore, for instance. Copy that and then delete these, then paste everything. Crap. Let's skip that also. I copied those. All right. This one is the main one, and it now has a bunch of new files. They're not added, so we're going to say git add all. Then we are going to recommit again, even though it shouldn't have changed. The docs again, even though it shouldn't have changed. Okay. And then commit. Okay, this is going to run on main. The actions, we're going to wait for that to finish. As long as the actions pass here, we're going to try to make a release, which is going to run all the actions again. And we're going to see if that succeeds. And if it does, it will upload everything and do everything. And if all that works, then we can add it to the community bundle. Which is called CircuitPython Community Bundle. Datafruit main, so let's update. Why that's taking so long to update. Interesting. On screen. All right. So we'll rerun a new set of actions, which includes the same ones that just passed, which obviously should do the same thing, but also this time includes GitHub release and PyPy release. So we'll see if those succeed or not. Still says updating here. Awkward. Why? Clone a new one if it doesn't a little bit. Both failed. Source not accessible by integration. Hidden. Tokens. If you're using a trusted publishing, it says do that. I don't know if we have that or not. No. Make an API token, verify your email address. Pretty sure I've done that. In your account settings, go to API token. We obviously don't want to do on the screen. API tokens. Let's see. Sorry, should have probably warned you all that it was about to get real bright. My bad. RB. Okay, we're getting closer. Turns out these days on PyPy, you need to use a token, and in order to use a token, you need to enable two-factor. In order to enable two-factor, you need to do something else, so kind of a cascade of things to do. But we're getting closer here. I think I have managed not to dox anything important, which is good. So, riddle me this, Batman. It tells you that it's best not to use a token that's scoped to your entire account and instead pick a specific project, but it doesn't list the project until you upload it the first time. Am I missing a thing that makes that possible somehow? All right. Yeah, sorry, folks. I know this is not, you obviously can't see anything I'm doing, but unfortunately, everything I'm doing is you're not allowed to see. So, what we get for right now. We're almost, like I said, though, we're getting pretty close, I think. Let's see here. All right. We headed back to GitHub to put the newly acquired token in place. Okay, PyPy, we can try rerun. I don't know if that actually. Can I rerun just PyPy? I mean, the other one's gonna fail again, certainly. Is this rerun, you think? I mean, surely that's rerun, right? It's unclear to me if that's going to be trying to rerun the GitHub one also. I don't really want to rerun the GitHub one also. Okay, yeah, it doesn't look like it. Which is good, because like that one's not going to succeed yet. We need to go figure out what that error means. Oh. Still failed. Oh. I didn't do the instructions correctly. Huh. That is odd to me. Why would everybody use the same username? Is that better? Interesting. Set your username, set your password too. Okay, so the names of the variables should be the same still, it looks like. I'm honestly not sure if this can actually just succeed on a rerun like this. We might have to like make a new release. There's some things where it kind of gets stuck after, even if it fails, it kind of gets stuck in a state where it won't succeed if you try again. So I don't know if this is one of them or not, but so then we'll make a new release. That's weird, right? Why would everybody use the same name? Username. I don't get that part. It looks like it's green though, so that's cool. Alright, we released on PyPy. That's pretty cool. So we should be able to go, I mean, I don't know how fast. Is it instant? It's probably instant, right? Yeah, half a minute ago. Not too bad. Cool, okay, that worked. So on to our GitHub problem. Release actions failed because why? Something about unexpected. So 403, that's unauthorized. So like we didn't have a token or our token's not allowed. Which, I mean, I didn't like include a token specifically anywhere, but I don't entirely sure that I would need to. Didn't think. So I don't have that on a different repo. And I don't think I got that problem. But maybe it's a change. And then it just links you like literally to the top level REST API documentation. Like, resource not available here. Start at the beginning. Thank you. I appreciate that. GitHub. Oh, that one's purple, so that seems promising. Right. Okay. Settings, actions, read write permissions. This is another thing I don't really want to do on the screen. This one I shouldn't really put anything important, but I don't trust it. So actions, no, workflows, webhooks. No, wait, what? In workflow permissions. General? There's reusable workflows. Okay, we try again. This one I do think is one that I don't think it can just retry, but I mean, we'll try retrying, but it might not be able to succeed. Even if we solve the problem, it might be broken. But what I'm recalling is that once it uploads the release assets, I think then you can't really rerun the actions or it gets messed up. Since we failed to upload the release actions, maybe rerunning it will be okay. Did that say Wally Linux? Like Waluigi. Oh, it looks green. That's pretty nice. Do we have actual MPY files on the release page? Yeah, we do. Awesome. All right. Did this thing ever finish updating? Yes, it did. Look at that. 53 commits, 31 files. So let's follow the instructions to add that to the community bundle, which are, I think, in this same repo. During in a bundle. I said repo, but I meant learn guide. It's like a repo, but not really a repo. Go back to dark. I already have this cloned. Adding the submodule to the library. Git submodule add URL to library, including git libraries / subfolder lowercase library name. Which is just the bit at the end, so that would be soft keyboard for us. And ours is not a driver because it doesn't go with specific hardware, it's a helper. So we're going to be putting that in helpers. I'm going to make a branch. Git checkout -b adding soft keyboard from Adafruit main. No track. Is that right? Maybe I need Adafruit _main because of the name of it there? I don't know. Can't be created. Yeah, that's not working. Adafruit main. Created. Origin. Let's go back to guess, I mean, that's the one we just updated. Let's just go origin. Different main. Back. It's the branch we're on. I just want a new branch from this with no track, please. If I just omit that, will it use the branch we're on? Okay, that's fair. Do we have Foamy Guy remote? Git remote -v? You do, yeah, okay. I'm gonna change origin. Git remote, rename origin, Adafruit. Now the command, git submodule add, git submodule add URL. I wanted that one. Including git, which we can get from here. Module add libraries and then helpers, space libraries, helpers, lowercase library names, soft keyboard. Updating the library list. That is in docs drivers RST. Or this one, actually. Community CircuitPython list. It's alphabetical. By section. So that's drivers, helpers, CircuitPython, soft. Wait, that's wrong. Elemento. Simple dial is actually out of order, I guess. Pi. Then read the docs. See, remember the process for this part either. Import manually. Get the git. Import manually. Name, repo URL. Default branch, main, English. Could have that already. But can't add the webhook automatically. The part's not documented in here. If you tie your account, then it can, but I didn't, so it didn't. And that means I need to go to webhooks. Need to add a webhook. URL to send the webhook to. Is that right? Is it under integration? Integrations. And it's a webhook? Alright, unfortunately we're back to stuff that you can't see because it's on the settings pages of all these different things. Webhooks allow external services to be notified when certain events happen. Add a webhook. We'll send a post to there. Let me look somewhere else real quick. Yeah. Event. Okay. So we need to get the webhook URL Need to get the webhook URL from read the docs. But inside read the docs, the thing that says webhooks is asking me for a URL. That's trying to send a post from read the docs to somewhere else, which is not what we want. We want GitHub to send a post to read the docs, which is a webhook from GitHub's perspective. But apparently something else from read the docs perspective. Is it an integration? Okay, an integration. And the integration type is GitHub incoming webhook. Now we're getting there. Take this one, we put it here. We take this one, which is new question, and we put it here. We save. Try to sync. Okay, activation failed. $200, 0 minutes ago. I think it's probably fine. Yeah, and it's even green here. Look at that. All right. Now we can get this and put it into here. That's everything on that line. So we have our PyPy filled in, we have our docs filled in, and we have our GitHub filled in, and we put the name CircuitPython soft keyboard for touchscreens. Good to go. Save that. Let's see if there was anything else back in this one. Pull request after adding it to this. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so we are going to commit this. Let's... I'm going to commit this to adding soft keyboard under the Foamy Guy remote. Then we're going to go to GitHub to the community bundle, GitHub. Make a pull request. That's interesting. Okay, it created the branch under my remote, but it didn't actually push my changes. So I basically just created a copy of main. There we go. Now it's actually got changes, and so now it knows it's different, and so now it should be over here too for this. All right, we made it. Took a little while. It's been a minute since I've done it. It's good to run through it again. Sorry, a bunch of it is off the screen. But we made it. So next thing I'm going to look at is some MQTT stuff. I thought there was one. Yeah. Into this issue, Feather RP 2040. How'd you get it connected? Airlift, maybe? Oh. No, it's a Pico WizNet thing. Oh, it's a WizNet, okay. Oh, right. There's a board with this built in, I think. I don't have one. Are these expensive? Are these available? WizNet eShop. $10. I should probably pick up one of these. So, I guess the WizNet library then? Yeah. This is Airlift. Airlift. Yeah, no arguments from me. All of the timeouts are kind of confusing. So we got a little bit mixed here because this person says found the problem for ESP32 SPI users, which I think is fixed now, if it's the problem I'm thinking. Maybe not. Is over in ESP32 SPI. Workaround is in the same place. Home Assistant using PyPortal. Backwards compatible sock. Modify the check performed. So I think let's work one at a time, I guess. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of history here. I think, unfortunately, I think there's been a lot of different, probably unrelated problems over a period of time that have all gotten lumped into people thinking the timeout is broken, basically. Some of them were in ESP32 SPI, and to the best of my knowledge, are fixed. Last time I tried messing with any of this stuff, which was a little while back, they were not updated in the frozen libraries for a minute, although I think they are updated there now too. But then we have some new people coming and saying the same thing, but like, I think half of these problems are a different problem. Okay, but basically the end of it is pointing to this PR, which I did look at before but wasn't passing actions, but is now. Constraint? Now that the timeout has passed. Yeah. One thing I'll mention that is more helpful than in comments like this, although this is fine too, but like if this person had hardware and tested it and left a comment that said I tested it and here's my results, I think it helps it move along faster. So as a heads up for anybody, if your goal is to move it along faster, it's always, I think, going to be more beneficial if you can test it and leave a comment about what happened than if you just try to ping it to get activity on it. Let's see. What is the closest I can come here? I think so I don't have that Pico thing, so I cannot do that exactly. I have a Feather RP2040, which we can use with the Featherwing Ethernet, the Ethernet Featherwing, which I have. Now you're doing exactly what I'm trying. The IO loop is blocking. Put that link. This is the exact link I'm looking at right now. If you are, what device are you on and what version is it? The very, very first thing to do, especially if you're using Airlift like ESP32 Spy, make sure you have the latest versions of ESP32 Spy library, request library, mini MQTT library. Because there was a bunch of versions where the timeouts and the looping and the stuff was not working, and then it was fixed. But there was also a period of time where the ones that weren't fixed were the ones that were frozen in. And so those were the ones that were being used unless you put yours at the root. You're on a PyPortal? What's the version of CircuitPython that's currently installed on it? I'll be right back also. Oh, that's backwards. Okay. I just cannot line that up. Pins are 829. That's the latest stable release, I think. If I were you, I would try absolute newest. Like, keep a copy of 829 if you want and switch back to it if you want. If I were you, the first thing I would try is absolute newest. And then the next thing I would try after that is explicitly installing ESP32 Spy and mini MQTT. That one probably doesn't matter, but ESP32 Spy in your root. Yeah, unfortunately, it's convoluted because the version of the libraries is important, and then there are certain libraries that are frozen into the core. So if you update your core, sometimes it results in you getting different libraries. Yeah, newest as in 9x. Yep. I don't know when the frozen ones were updated, but I know sometimes they're not updated right away, so then you're on the old version. And the last time I left this timeout blocking mini MQTT stuff on ESP32 Spy, the last time I touched it, it was not blocking. It could have gone back to blocking again since then, but my testing was absolute newest of every single library and put in the root of CircuitPy. to make sure that it uses that and not the frozen. That's what it was when I was doing it. But at that time when I did it, we could find the time even because I commented in here. But it could be that it's broken again. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. Anyway, it was not blocking last time I touched it. So I'm about to retry it. This one is not Airlift right now. This is WizNet. But like, at one point I know it was good to go with the latest versions. And at one point I know that you had to have those latest versions in the root. Otherwise you were getting the frozen ones, which were not the latest ones, which were not working real quick. Not working correctly, rather. I need to grab an Ethernet cable. It's not necessarily a super handy one for it, but we can use this one. I'm probably not gonna, I probably shouldn't have waded into this as much time as I had, honestly. I'm probably not gonna make it all the way through this, and I do have some other stuff to do, so unfortunately I'll have to cut it short, but we'll at least try to get started recreating this. Unfortunately, it's got a lot to it, I think. This is test topic. If I take this, is it better? I think we want to use but yeah, okay, this is still using MiniMQTT directly. It says Adafruit.io, but it's not using the Adafruit.io library. Try latest, okay. Yep. Yeah, I know for a fact it was blocking there for a while, and then when because I did a bunch of work on the socket around the same time, and I tested a lot of network stuff and a lot of different devices. I changed a lot of things and I fixed a lot of things, and it was back to not blocking at that time. This is a Morse code thing? Oh yeah, I think I was playing with like, I called it X Morse code blinkers, yeah. If it is the case that the frozen libraries are still behind, we definitely should update those. That was the case back when I was working on it, but I thought they had gotten updated since then. But I don't know. Unfortunately, versions for me are a bit weird. Like, I'm always on just weird versions of everything. It's half the time I do development and just leave a version that's like not actually an official one. So then it's like in all kinds of weird states. Okay. Guess that's fine, right? So that's probably fine. It's photocell on off. I think I even have those feeds. Yeah, photocell and on off. I don't have secrets. My student did this. In 68. Okay, this is the oldest one. This is actually the one I was imagining in my head a minute ago. Yeah. Here's the timestamp of when I was doing it. In July, which is when I did this, what I said here was true. If you used the latest of everything, it was working, and then the frozen thing was the next thing, which I admit was annoying. It's not great. It's not easy. It is difficult. But at this time, if you had circumvent the frozen, then in that case it was working. Again, last I knew, but that's July, so a while ago. And for what it's worth, then like I believe this PR can be closed. Like at the time, like I didn't close it, but I believe that it's not, like at the time it wasn't necessary anymore, and so we didn't need that change or any change because it was working. But maybe this one will, I don't know. Something somewhere is broken for sure, though, right? Because we have a lot of people saying it doesn't work. So definitely something is not working right. Compatible MPY file. Wiznet. Again. Found. Did I just uninstall again? No, okay. Well, it has no split. First, we're gonna have UI code, so I'm not gonna be able to read it. I wonder if it's like not actually done saving the file. Why do we have MPY files? Awesome. Why is PyCharm not showing me the truth? Oh, that's a lot of names. 244. Address. 388. Address. Paper. Tuple has no split. Address is a tuple. I mean the root of CPY or the root of your lib. The root of the CPY. Yeah, not lib. The root of the CPY, which is needed to basically overtake the frozen ones. That was necessary at the time. Off the top of my head, I believe it's not anymore, but I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. It does not have split. I feel like we're always never just get to look into the first problem that we're trying to look into, right? I don't understand how, like, what tuple doesn't have split? How did this ever work? And how did we get into a state where we're like, tuple doesn't work? So address, int, address. So it's saying address here, but it's Mac. Mac, which is what? What is Mac? Mac is Mac address raw. Default Mac, which is a tuple. Fair enough. I mean, how did that work before? Did that not work before? I'm so confused. It's like it's expecting a string. I mean, and it's going to turn around and split it right here. So this feels incredibly silly to me, but see, but this is bad too, because now we're just randomly changing this library when the whole point of this is trying to test something. So we already are starting our tests from a place that's just different than the world. I really don't prefer. Join expects a list. This just feels like it completely invalidates a bunch of the tests if I'm just fixing code to make it even run. But I'm so confused about how it is broken this way. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're doing this right now, as it turns out. Type error for MAC address? That sounds relevant. I don't know who this guy who released it was. I don't know what he was thinking. Hmm. We started with an attribute error. Well, we started with a doesn't have split. Still doesn't make sense to me. But we got an attribute error one of the times, didn't we? Type error. We got attribute error. Tuple has no split. And the line where it came from used to catch attribute errors. But now catches type errors. Students have assignment, get the weather. Regularly via requests in their own feeds from a sensor they build. I want that to update when a feed is updated. IO loop feed callback. Get the weather regularly via request in their own feeds from a sensor. I want that to update whenever a feed is updated. Feed callback. Yeah, that sounds reasonable to me. That sounds good to me. I don't have a lot of experience using MQTT and requests like at the same time, because it sounds like you have one loop that's going to be doing requests, I presume, to a weather API of some sort, and then you have mini MQTT, which is going to be running, looping, looking for data from the MQTT server. I personally don't have experience using them both together. I don't know if that's a problem or not. I know there's stuff about like reusing the sockets, and there's a connection manager kind of proposal which has to do with reusing the thing. So yeah, I guess I would say like conceptually off the top of my head, that seems like it should work to me, but yeah, I haven't tested specifically that using both of them together. What was the 134? And that's on a you are on an airlift. You are on a PyPortal. This project that you're talking about, I think, rather than the Ethernet. Do something that does T with I did, but I don't. Did that use mini MQTT? I don't know for sure. I used something with Adafruit IO and requests before, but I don't recall if that was using MQTT also, or if it was just using request, just using IO, because it has a REST interface also. Adafruit IO does. I've been just using that. I don't know. Put this here. Try to go one at a time here. Failed to resolve the host name. So that was a thing that just happened to me with this device before. Honestly. And I even, if I'm recalling correctly, I was getting into a state where it was just failing over and over, and I had to like hard reset, which is what I just tried doing. But it looks like it's just gonna fail over and over. So I mean, yeah, it looks like we don't. I can't. I am. I can't test the mini MQTT thing until I can get WizNet working on this device that I have to test. This strikes me as odd a little bit. Why did we change to greater than there? Yeah. Okay. We have lights or lights. It's unclear to me if the WizNet succeeded. Okay. I do. Have an IP. Okay. Well, we chipped away. We chipped away a little bit. We found a new issue to document. I think this is going to be a next time we come back to it type of thing. What I will do is, I don't think I have anything on my list for Monday so far, so this will go at the top of my list on Monday. You dig further into mini MQTT and WizNet and stuff, and I'll try on the PyPortal as well, so I'll try with ESP32 SPI. I'll go back through all the same testing I did before, which was some ESP32 SPI, some built-in Wi-Fi ESP32 S2, and then some WizNet. I tested all three of those back when I did this before. And I'll go back through and try them again. Maybe I'll go back and try to find one of my old streams too, because this is very deja vu. I think I was having this error consistently for a while. I don't remember the exact fix. What time on Monday? I don't have a time for you, sorry. Yeah, I don't know exactly. I mean, I can tell you the weekly meeting is in the afternoon on Monday, and it will not be during that. But I don't have a time for you other than that. I would say if you follow me on Twitch, then you can get a notification if I go live. But I'm not 100% certain that I will stream either. So, like, I will look into this on Monday. I start working in the morning, usually. Which is around 8 a.m. my time, but I don't know if this is like the exact first thing I will look at. So Monday morning is kind of the closest I can give you to a time. That's not an exact time. You could try following me. If I pop on the stream, you'll get the follow thingy. But again, I don't know for sure if I'll pop stream on. Sometimes I do on Mondays. Sometimes I'm not feeling like it. So just kind of depends. But I will definitely be taking a look whether I stream or not. We'll try to get all of them worked out. I'll try to get this one merged if it is necessary. As far as I understand, this person is talking about it on the WizNet. I don't know if it's also going to apply to PyPortal or not. But I noticed there's a bunch of others also still, so. There's a bunch of stuff to look at. It's good that Vladak is working on it, I will say. Vladak has done a lot of the work in this library lately, so this is probably a good sign. Amount, if it's less than that, interesting. Okay. I have feed callback working. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think there are contexts in which it is working, though, is, I guess, part of what I was trying to say earlier. And I welcome anybody else who would like to help look into it, to put any and all details they can in the issues. Like, that's the thing that helps everything get done faster, better, more quicker, is, like, the more details that are in the issues, the more people who can test it and put, here's the devices I tested it with, here's the code I ran, here's the output I got. Those details in the issues, that's kind of like what moves it along most quickest. So I want to help you and your students get everything working, but I also, like, I am only one person trying to help. I believe it was working the last time I touched it. And that is all documented in that original comment back there. I don't know the current state, but I'm going to look into it. Thank you to everybody for watching. Thanks for hanging out in the chat. Yeah, I have not talked to Scott about Deep Dive. As far as I know, Scott's back on Deep Dive, so I'll be back next week, Saturday morning for sure, 10 a.m. Central Time at the usual time. And then just kind of like always, if I pop on Mondays, you know, sometimes I pop on in the morning, Sometimes pop on in the afternoon after the meeting. You can always follow me over on the old Twitch, or I don't know, does YouTube have a follow? I think you can subscribe or whatever on YouTube too. I don't know how the notifications work on that side. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, folks. I hope everyone has a good day, good rest of your weekend, and all that kind of stuff. I will catch you all next time. Yep, see yas.